Hello my friends, Stark here, desperately needing a haircut. Today is Sunday, 28th of September 2014. Over the last few nights I have been experimenting with a new product which I hadn't used beforehand. It is Miracle Paint from the Bill Hirsch Company, a rust encapsulator product and rival to the perhaps more famous Ford F700 paint over rust from Restomotive Industries. I've always used paint over rust, but I frequently had problems with it, peeling and just generally adhesion problems. So my success rate with Ford F700 has been mixed, hit and miss. That may be my own fault, because typically I didn't follow the Ford F700 three-step procedure, which includes an application of a metal prepping solution, which I seldom purchased because it was additional money. I'm not saying that Ford F700 is a bad product, not at all. I'm saying that I am too lazy to go through so many steps, and that may be why I suffered from time to time with adhesion problems. So I was very pleased to find this rival product which does not require a metal prepping stage. This Miracle Paint, also a rust encapsulator, not a converter. Both products encapsulate the rust, they seal it in forever, preventing air and moisture from exacerbating existing rust. But with the Miracle Paint, we simply descale the rust, rub it down a little bit, but leave a surface rust, leave some tooth, some bite for the Miracle Paint to adhere to, and brush away. This is the 20-foot steel bed of my Ford F700 rollback truck. I painted about 90% of the bed so far. The dirty areas you see are dust from my shoes when I've walked upon the bed. Looks nice. I do intend to top coat this later, because like the Ford F700, the Miracle Paint is susceptible to ultraviolet light, which is a component of sunlight. So if I don't top coat it, it'll fade. Instead of removing the lid from the can, the Bill Hirsch Company suggests that I punch two holes, one to pour the paint from and the other for the ingress of air, so that we don't get a vacuum and problems in pouring the paint. The reason for punching the holes in the lid is because if you were to brush directly out of the can and then leave the product on the lip of the can, then when you replace the lid later, next time you go to use that can, it will be almost impossible, if not impossible, to remove the lid. The lid will be essentially paint glued into the can. And I've had the same problem in the past with the rival Ford F700 product, even direct from the factory. I remember one time I bought a brand new Ford F700 can, hadn't used it, and they must have gotten Ford F700 on the inside of the lid when they sealed it. I was unable to open it without wrecking the can. Anyways, punch 2 holes. Clean up my mess a little bit. That's just the lower half of a pop can. Put that into the light so we can see it. Okay, see if we can pour this without making too much of a mess. Don't want to waste it. Alright, the reason for painting at night or in the evening is because there's a little more humidity in this part of the day, and Miracle Paint, just like 415, actually adheres better and forms a stronger, tougher bond in the presence of humidity. So the greater the humidity, the stronger the bond. No wet surfaces, of course. It goes on very thinly and forms a beautiful finish. It's almost a shame that we have to paint over it later. Don't want to paint it out. Don't go too thin. I've done my best to remove most of the scabs of old paint from the bed. You can see that it's mostly just a lightly rusted surface, and that should be about perfect for the Miracle Paint. So I have high hopes that it'll serve this truck well over the coming years. I'm worrying about the top surface first, protecting it from the vehicles that we'll carry, but later I'll have to turn my attention to the underside of the bed, because as we all know, especially over the winter, that's where they rust, from the inside up. Beautiful job. Love the way this paint goes on. I say paint, but really I think it's more of a chemical. I'm not a chemist, but I thought that the definition of paint, or one of the definitions, was the evaporation of solvents, and I'm not convinced that these rust encapsulators contain those solvents that we typically find in paint products. So once again, this is not a rust converter. It does not convert ferrous oxides into magnetite. It's not a cure rust type product. It's simply an encapsulator to keep out all moisture and all water. So you can't leave any breaks in it. You've got to have 100% coverage. That means I'll be going over this again later, the whole bed, to check for any missed spots. But damn, it does look good. These are the chain eyes at the rear of the truck. Slot a chain in here and then run the link here. Remember, this is a recovery truck, so it's full of little pockets and eyes for chains and hooks and straps. Well, alright, my friends, what do you think? I have 2 more patches to go. The stuff isn't cheap. I paid $85 for 2 quarts and the freight. So, not cheap at all.